Are you looking for a simple way to pre-filter your drinking water before you treat it? In this video, I want to show you the 3 most common ways to make this happen. Stay tuned. Hello friends and family, thanks for checking in. For anyone new here, my name is Russell Liston, and I'm here to help you as you prepare every needful thing. When most people think of treating their water, they often think of boiling, or maybe a filter or some chemicals, or even ultraviolet as a way to treat the water, and that would be correct. But all of these methods can benefit by pre-filtering the water. What does it mean to pre-filter your water? Basically, it's the idea of removing anything that you can see with your eyes, like leaves, rocks, dirt, bugs, anything like that. And then you would treat it for the stuff you can't see, like bacteria, viruses, and protozoa, things that might make you pretty sick. Just to be clear, pre-filtering does not make the water safe to drink. It just makes it a little bit less chewy or gritty. And that's a good thing. If you're going to be boiling it or using chemicals or even ultraviolet, you don't want it to be gritty or chewy. And if you're going to be using an additional filter like a Berkey or a Sawyer Squeeze or the Katadyn Befree, that will also help it to be able to last longer, so you won't have to clean out your filter as often. Pre-filtering is actually quite simple. All you're really doing is you're pouring the dirty water through some material of some sort to help make it cleaner. Today we're going to be discussing the 3 most common ways: the bandana, the coffee filter, and the plain old paper towel. I want you to see how it works and the results you'll get in case you ever need to do this. For this demonstration, we're going to run each of these filters through 3 different tests to see how they do. The first test that we're going to put them through is just clean water. I've got some containers here, and this one is just regular tap water. I want you to be able to see how quickly just clean water will go through the filter, and also it'll give us kind of something to compare the other examples to. The second test we're going to go through is dirty water. Again, I've just got some clean water here, and I've got a little bit of dirt from the garden, and I'm just going to put a little bit into it, just so we have some sediment, something to filter out with our filter. And so we'll get that shaken up, and this will be our dirty water. And the third one that we're going to do is going to be the dirty water, but I want to give it a chance to settle. So we'll use the same dirt, put some sediment into it, and then we will allow it to settle for a while so we can see that comparison of how the water will be after it has a chance to sit and settle. To help you guys see this, today I'm going to be using some pint-sized jars. I've also got a little canning funnel so that I can help get the water inside there. And at times I'm going to be using the 6-inch strainer to help hold the different filters in place. So the first one I want to do is the bandana. So again, I've just got a simple bandana. We're just going to put it over the filter there, or the funnel, and we're going to start with our clean water. So let me get that so you can see. So this is how just clean water is going to flow through there. As you can see, there's not much stopping it. Okay, so that's our clean water test, and that flowed really well. Now we're going to do the dirty water. I'm going to shake that up a little bit so we can get that sediment moving around in there. And I better get me a new jar. Okay, all right, here's the dirty water. Okay, all right, and so that actually flowed pretty good through there also. I hope you can see that. It picked up quite a bit of sediment that was floating in the water there, so that one actually did really good at removing some of those chunky, chewy things for us, so that was nice. And then as far as the water goes, it did, compared to our clean bottle, or the clear water, it did let a lot of sediment through, and so we'll be able to keep an eye on that as we go. But it didn't take out all of the sediment from the dirty water. All right, now we're going to do the coffee filter. So for this one, I'm going to have the same setup, but I am going to use the strainer to help me with this because the coffee filter wants to kind of fall through the canning funnel. So I'll just position that in there to help hold that. So first we'll just do the clear water. And that's a little bit slower than the bandana, but it's still doing quite well. Yep, that's a little bit slower. All right, now we will move it over and we will do the dirty water. We'll give it a little shake to stir back up that sediment there. Now that's going a lot slower than the bandana. In fact, the sediment may have already started to clog the pores of that filter. This one might take a while. But the good news is, look how clean that water is coming out the bottom. That's actually doing a really good job compared to how much sediment came through on the bandana. I'm going to let this sit for a minute and I'll get back with you when it has had a chance to all go through, and I'll let you know how long that took. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes and I didn't add more water to it because I wanted to show you how dirty this filter became. As you can see, it has filtered out a lot of that sediment, and it did pretty good. So for 3 minutes to get about 1 cup of water, and then in comparison to our clean water, it is doing not bad, not bad. Anyway, that is the coffee filter. Let me take this out here and I'll show it to you one more time. So that did really good at taking out the sediment out of or removing that from the water. All right, so our third test is going to be just the plain old paper towel. This is the Kirkland brand from Costco, and it's just a paper towel. So we'll put it inside of the strainer there, and then in there to help hold it. And then we're going to start with the clear water. And that, look at that. That's flowing really quickly. Okay, not bad. Now we will do the dirty water. And I better shake it up to keep things even. The good news is that you can see how quickly it is settling on this container over here. All right, here is the paper towel with the dirty water. Not as quick as the bandana and not as slow as the coffee filter. Yeah, that's definitely moving along and actually seems to be quite clear. So that's obviously not as clear as just the clean water, but that's doing really good. And look, let me show you this. Look how dirty, oops, I might have got a little bit in there. Look how dirty that paper towel is. That collected a lot of dirt from that water. That was actually pretty impressive. Okay, for the final test, we're going to be using the settled water to go through the same filters. So as you can see, the layer of dirt is down there on the bottom. I'm going to do my best to try not to disturb that as I pour the water off of the top. So we'll start with the bandana. Okay, so we'll get our setup there. And I'm going to be using the same bandana, and I'll just use a different corner of it so that, let's see, actually we don't need this strainer for this one. Oops, I want you to be able to see how it does. So we'll just take off the cap and we'll carefully pour. Now there is a bit of floaty stuff on top here, which the bandana is doing great at getting. I think I'm going to stop there so that I can, oh, you could see the dirt kind of coming up the side there. Let's see how that did. So actually, you can see that there's a little bit of sediment, but that was the floating stuff that was in the bottle, but not much else. And then, boy, look how good that did. Let's see, this was our bandana. So that's a pretty good comparison there. Compared to the dirty water, that's quite a bit better there. So we have our clean water, our dirty water, and then our settled water for the bandana. All right, now let's do the same test with the coffee filter. So we'll put a coffee filter inside of our strainer, inside of our funnel, and we'll take the settled water and see how that pours through. Yep, you got to be careful. It looks like you can see that dirt trying to sneak its way up the side of the jar there. But boy, that is filtering a lot more quickly than it did earlier. That's still moving along. Looks like I put a little bit too much in there. But while it's going, we'll just compare it to the previous ones. So we had our clean water, and then we had our dirty water, and it's kind of just right there in the middle between the two. And then you can see that it does have a little bit of sediment that's in there. Just the stuff that was mainly floating on the top is what's kind of in there. So that is pretty good. And that was much better than the dirty water. I didn't show you this, but this is from the coffee filter. So I wanted to take it out and just show you how clean that is compared to the dirty water and how much sediment we were able to take out with that. So that's the coffee filter takes a lot of sediment out of the water. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, our final test will be the paper towel. So we'll use the strainer again. Now there are a lot of different ways to hold these materials, but for me, trying to do it by myself, I found that these little devices help me to be able to make this work. So we're going to be doing the settled water for this one. And that is filtering through quite quickly. Wow, that went really good. Yeah, that was great. And you can see that there still are the floaty things in the bottle, and it was really good at collecting those. And then it was really good at coming out quite clear. So if we take a quick sample from our clean water to that's a pretty good comparison. And then from our settled water to what our dirty water is, the dirty water still has quite a bit of sediment going on inside of it. There is a reason why these are the 3 most common pre-filters you hear about. It's because they all work. We just demonstrated that all of them remove the large stuff that you can see with your eyes from the water. And so that was really nice to see that they do work. I was also impressed by the water that we gave it a few minutes to settle. The sediment was able to go to the bottom, and that made the results much better. That's each of these ends here. So you can see that they still are much cleaner than the dirty water that we filtered through. So that was pretty impressive. If there's anything to be disappointed about, it's the coffee filter. It seemed like it clogged the most quickly. It was doing a good job, but it did clog up those pores and not allow the water through like the bandana or the paper towel. So that was a little bit disappointing. I think the real takeaway from this is to store as much clean water as possible so that this is what you're dealing with and not this. Because even though that's pretty good, I'd rather drink this one than this one. Like I mentioned earlier, the next step for this water would be to boil it, to run it through a filter, or to add chemicals to it to continue the treatment process to make it safe to drink. Today's assignment is to evaluate your water treatment system and ask yourself if a pre-filter is part of that system. If not, I'd encourage you to add either some coffee filters or maybe some paper towels or a bandana to the kit so you have those as part of your emergency preparedness supplies. If you have a pre-filter system that's different than this, what does it look like and how does it work? Please let us know in the comments below. I hope that this demonstration helped you to understand how pre-filtering your water works. If you liked what we did here today, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, I'd like to invite you to do so. Once again, I'd like to thank you for your time, and may God bless you as you prepare every needful thing. Thank you.